Hey, Algebra 1, Catlin here with your help for Lesson 6 cooldown. And we're still looking at these function graphs, and we're checking out the features that are on them. Some of the features we need to know about are the x and y intercepts. We also need to be aware of maximums and minimums. And then something that we discussed today in class were these peaks and dips. Okay, these are parts of the graph that we can kind of pinpoint where it crosses the x-axis, the y-axis, the maximum height of the graph, the minimum height of the graph, the lowest point, peaks and dips that might happen along the way. And we're going to start off with this squirrel running up a tree, and the graph shows the height of the squirrel on the y-axis in h feet as a function of time t in t seconds along the x-axis. So what is the highest point that the squirrel reaches? That would be its maximum point. And the maximum point that it reaches would be right here on this dot, which was at about 1.5 seconds. It was 14 feet up the tree. So 14 feet is the highest point that it reaches. And if we have to solve h of t equals 0, we are essentially finding at what time was the squirrel equal to 0 feet or on the ground, essentially, right? So we know that the squirrel was on the ground right here. This is when it is at 0. This is h of t equaling 0 would be along this x-axis. And it's also our x-intercept on the graph. It's also our minimum, our lowest point. And t is at 4 seconds when that happens. And what does the solution tell you about the squirrel? It tells me that the squirrel was on the ground shortly. It wasn't there very long. It didn't stay there. It just kind of hopped down and then hopped right back up. Was on the ground shortly at 4 seconds. That's what that tells me. And then the last part here says find the vertical intercept, which is along the y-axis. And what does it tell us about the squirrel? All right, so let's look at the y-axis, vertical right here. So the vertical intercept of the graph is equivalent to when h of 0. Vertical intercept will always be at h of 0. And when h of 0 equals 9, that's our vertical intercept. What does this tell us about the squirrel? That it started, so when time started, the squirrel was already 9 feet up the tree. It started 9 feet up the tree. And there we go. That's just understanding the features, the little descriptions of the graph. That should help you whenever you're answering questions on quizzes and homework problems. Later, guys.